verified script length, and determined optimal delivery method. Your shower is weak, and if you are like most people, you have already tried the one thing that does not fix it, which is buying a new shower head. Here is what almost nobody understands. You do not have a pressure problem. You have a hole problem, and your water is being choked in the last 4 inches before it ever touches your skin. So why does a Japanese shower head that uses less water than yours hit twice as hard as the one hanging in your bathroom right now? It is 5:40 in the morning. The tile is cold. You are standing under the shower with your eyes shut and shampoo running down your forehead, and you are turning your head sideways, left, then right, leaning into the wall a little, trying to get the water to reach the back of your scalp. It takes you 2 minutes to rinse your hair. It used to take 30 seconds. You know that little dance. Everybody does it, nobody talks about it. My name is Kenji Mori. I am 61 years old, and I run a Sento in the Nishinari ward of Osaka. A Sento is a public bath. My grandfather opened it in 1952. My father ran it after him. I have run it since 1998. There are 22 showers on the men's side and 22 on the women's side. 44 shower heads. If one of them goes weak, I hear about it that same afternoon from a man who has been coming here for 30 years and who is not shy about it. So, I have fixed this problem more times than I can count. Hundreds of times. And I want to tell you that for the first 9 years, I did it wrong. I bought shower heads. That was my answer to everything. When the water went soft, I ordered a new head. In 2009, I replaced all 44 of them at once. It cost me close to $1,800. The bath was strong for about 6 weeks. Then it went soft again, one at a time, exactly the same as before. My father was still alive then. He was 83 and he did not say much. He walked into the men's bath, reached up, unscrewed one of my brand new heads with his bare hand, and dropped it into a bucket of hot water and vinegar. Then, he went and had his tea. Quick word before I go further. The old methods my family uses, there is more of it than fits in any one video. I gathered the whole of it into a book you can buy in our pinned comment below. The book is the long version. If you want it, it is there. I will not mention it again. In the morning, he called me over to the bucket. The water in it was the color of weak tea. On the bottom there was grit, pale and fine, like sand from a river. He picked the head up, held it against the window, and told me to look through the holes. I could see daylight through every one of them. The night before, when I took it down off the wall, I could not. That head was 6 weeks old. 6 weeks. He put it back on the wall, turned the tap, and the water came out of it like it was angry. It hit the tile and sprayed halfway across the room. Same head, same pipe, same city water, nothing bought, nothing replaced, nothing but a bucket, some hot water, and cheap vinegar from the kitchen. I stood there, feeling like a fool, who had just set $1,800 on fire. And that is the day I stopped being a man who buys things and started being a man who understands things. Since then, I have not spent 1 yen on a shower head for this building. Not one. The heads on my wall right now are the same heads from 2009. They are 17 years old. They hit harder than anything you can buy in a shop today, and I am going to show you exactly how, step by step, in the order I do it, with what it costs, which is nothing. But first, you need to understand why this happens, because if you skip that part, you will do the work once and be back here in a year. So what was actually in that bucket? And why is it the one thing that almost nobody checks? Here is the thing that took me 9 years and $1,800 to learn. Pressure and flow are not the same thing. People use the words like they mean one thing, and they do not. Pressure is the push. It is how hard the city or your pump is shoving water down the pipe toward your house. Flow is how much of that water is actually allowed through. You can have all the push in the world and still get a dribble, if something in the way is only letting a little bit past. Almost nobody has a pressure problem. The city is doing its job. Your pump is doing its job. What you have is a narrow doorway. Now, where does the doorway get narrow? Your water is not just water. It is carrying dissolved rock, calcium and magnesium picked up from the ground it traveled through. You cannot see it. It is invisible in the pipe. But the second that water sprays out of a tiny hole into open air, and especially when it is hot, that rock comes out of hiding and sticks to whatever it touches. That is limescale. It is the same white crust you see on your kettle. It is the same chalky ring around your tap. And it is growing inside every one of the 60 or 80 little holes on the face of your shower head, a hair thicker every month. That is the whole thing. That is the answer. It does not happen overnight, which is why you never noticed. It happens the way hair goes gray, slowly, and then one day you look and it has already happened. You never had a good shower and then a bad shower. You had 400 showers, each one a tiny bit weaker than the last. There is a second doorway too, and this one is worse because almost nobody on Earth knows it is there. Inside the end of your shower head, where it screws onto the hose or the pipe, there is a little mesh screen, a filter disc about the size of a coin, usually with a rubber washer sitting next to it. It was put there at the factory to stop grit from getting into the nozzles. And it works. It catches rust flakes and sand and bits of old pipe that your own plumbing sheds year after year. Nobody ever takes it out. Nobody knows to. So after 10 or 12 years, it is not a screen anymore. It is a felt mat. I have pulled screens out of the heads in my bath that looked like the bottom of a tea bag. Now here is the sharp part. A plumber in Osaka will charge you between $80 and $130 just to come and look. A new shower head that says high pressure on the box costs $40 to $60. Vinegar, which is already in your kitchen, costs $0. And I will tell you a secret about the plumber. Half the time, what he does when he gets there is take out that screen and rinse it in the sink. He is doing the same 5-minute job you can do tonight and charging you $100 for the drive. But here is the part that turns everything upside down. And this is the Japanese piece. In this country, almost every shower head sold is a water-saving head, by law and by habit. They use less water than yours does, less, and they feel stronger. Everybody who visits notices it. Everybody asks about it. The reason is simple once you hear it. Your skin cannot feel volume. Your skin only feels speed. Take the same amount of water and force it through fewer, smaller, perfectly clean holes, and it comes out faster and hits harder even though there is less of it. That is the entire trick. That is all a high-pressure shower head is. It is a head with narrow, clean holes, which means the head already on your wall is a high-pressure shower head. It always was. It is just that half its holes are shut and the rest are half shut, and the mesh in the neck is packed solid, so the water comes out slow and fat and warm instead of fast and sharp. You do not need more water. You need a clear road. And this is why buying a new head is such a bad answer. The expensive one works by making the holes narrower. Narrower holes clog faster. So you pay $60 for a head that feels wonderful for 6 weeks, and then dies harder than the one you threw away. I know. I did it 44 times in one afternoon. So here is exactly what I do, in order, and it costs nothing but one evening of not thinking about it. The first step is the one everybody skips, and it takes 2 minutes. I call it asking the house. Before you touch the shower head, turn the shower off and turn on the bath tap, the one that fills the tub. Then the bathroom sink, then the kitchen sink. If those all run strong, and only the shower is weak, your house is fine, and the problem is in the head. Good, that is most of you. If everything in the house is weak, stop the problem is a valve, and I will get to that. Now, do the part almost nobody does. Run the shower on hot only, then cold only. If cold is strong and hot is weak, your shower head is not the problem at all. Your water heater is, or the little shut-off valve on the pipe going into it, and that is a different afternoon. 2 minutes. It will save you from taking apart the wrong thing. Step 2 is the soak. In Japan, we call this tsukooki, which just means leaving something to sit in liquid. Unscrew the shower head, turn it counterclockwise. Most of them come off with your hand. If it is stiff, wrap a dish towel around the neck first, and then use pliers. And the towel is not optional, because bare pliers will chew up the chrome, and you will look at that scar every morning for the rest of your life. Now, fill a bowl with half white vinegar and half hot water. Hot from the tap. Not boiling, because boiling water will warp the plastic parts inside. Put the head in face down so the nozzles are under the surface. Leave it 8 hours, overnight. Go to bed. If your head is fixed to the wall and will not come off, put the vinegar in a plastic bag. Pull the bag up over the head and hold it there with a rubber band around the neck. Same result. And if you have citric acid in the house, which every Japanese kitchen does, we call it kwensan. 1 spoonful in 2 cups of hot water works faster than vinegar and does not make the bathroom smell like a salad. Step 3 is the needle, and this is the one you will want to rewind. In the morning, take the head out of the bowl. Get a sewing needle or a safety pin or the end of a paper clip. Push it through every single hole, from the outside going in. You will feel it pop through a little crust on some of them. That is 7 years of your water supply. Then do the part that separates a job done right from a job done twice. Hold the head under the running tap backward so the water goes in through the neck and out through the face. Backward. Flush it in the wrong direction. If you run the water the normal way, you are pushing all that loosened grit deeper into the nozzles and packing it tight. Backward pushes it out. 10 seconds. It matters more than the soak. Step 4 is the screen. This is the one nobody knows about, and in my experience, it is the single biggest thief. Look inside the open end of the head, the end that screws onto the hose. You will see a rubber washer and behind it a small mesh disc. Hook it out with a bent paperclip or needle nose pliers. Rinse it under the tap and scrub it with an old toothbrush. Then, hold it up to a window. If the light does not come through evenly across the whole disc, it is still blocked. Keep going. And here is the trick within the trick. If you have a hand shower on a hose, there is usually a second screen at the other end, where the hose meets the wall or the mixer. Almost everyone cleans one end and stops. Clean both. Step 5 is the valves, and this is for the people whose whole house is weak. There is a shutoff valve where the water enters your house, usually near the meter. There is often another on the pipe to your water heater. Here is what I have found again and again. A valve that looks open is not always open. A plumber came 10 years ago, closed it, opened it back up most of the way, and left. So, close it fully, counting the turns, then open it fully, counting again. If it opened further than it closed, you just found your problem for free. And if your house has a pressure regulator, a small brass bell-shaped thing on the main line, you can loosen its lock nut and turn the screw clockwise a quarter turn at a time. Go slow. Test between turns. You want 50 to 60 pounds. Do not go past 80, ever, because that is how a washing machine hose bursts at 2 in the morning. Now let me be honest with you about one more thing, because I would rather tell you the truth than tell you what you want to hear. There is a small plastic disc with a pinhole in it, inside the neck of many shower heads. A flow restrictor. Every video on the internet will tell you to pull it out. I leave mine in, all 44 of them. Because once the holes in the screens are clean, that disc is doing the same job as a Japanese water-saving head, which is speeding the water up. Pull it out, and you get more water, not more force. And you pay for every liter of it in your gas bill. Do the cleaning first, then decide. Most of you will never touch it. Now let me tell you why this is worth an evening. Because it is not really about the shower. When I cleaned all 44 heads properly for the first time, I started paying attention to how long people stayed under them. Before, the average man in my bath stood under the shower for about 11 minutes. After, it was closer to 7. Not because anybody told them to hurry, because they were finished. They were rinsed. A weak shower does not save water. It wastes it because you stand there twice as long doing the same job. My gas bill for that first full month after the cleaning went down by about a fifth. 20% on a bill I had assumed for years was simply the cost of doing business. There is a health side too, and I do not want to frighten anybody, but you should know it. Those clogged nozzles stay wet all day. Warm, wet, dark, and still. That is where a film of bacteria grows. And when you turn the tap on in the morning, the first thing that comes out of that head is a fine mist of whatever has been living in there. This is well studied. It is one of the reasons hospitals descale their showers on a schedule. Vinegar and a needle every 3 months is not a chore. It is housekeeping, the same as wiping a counter. My grandfather used to say a thing to my father, and my father said it to me while I stood there feeling stupid next to that bucket. Water is never lazy. If the water is weak, something is standing in its way. Find the thing. Do not blame the water. I think about that sentence more than I should for a man who runs a bathhouse, because it is not only about pipes. And there is one more idea from this country that I want to hand you, and it is the word motenai. It means, what a waste. It means the thing still had life in it, and you threw it away. 44 shower heads went in a skip behind this building in 2009 because I did not know that hot water and vinegar existed. They were not broken. Not one of them. They were dirty, and I could not tell the difference. So I paid $1,800 to learn a word my grandmother used to say to me about leaving rice in the bowl. Most things people throw away are not broken. They are just clogged, or dull, or loose, and nobody ever showed them the difference. So here is what I want you to do tonight, not this weekend, tonight, before you go to bed. Take the shower head off, 2 minutes. Put it face down in a bowl with half hot water and half white vinegar and go to sleep. In the morning, needle every hole. Flush it backward under the tap. Pull the mesh screen out of the neck and scrub it. Put it back on the wall and turn it on. That is it. 5 minutes of morning, $0. Then come back and tell me in the comments what color the water in that bowl was. Gray, brown, orange, or the color of weak tea like mine was. And tell me how many years old your shower head is, because I want to see whether the pattern I have seen in this bath for 17 years holds in your country too. I read all of them. Next time, I am going to show you what my mother did to keep the bathroom mirror from fogging. Ever. Using one thing that is already sitting in your bathroom right now and a dry towel. No spray, no fan. It takes about 90 seconds and it lasts roughly 3 weeks. And once you have seen it, you will not understand why anybody sells anything else. Until then, take the head off the wall, look through the holes. If you cannot see daylight, you have found your afternoon.